Good morning. Glad to see all of you here. My name is Marilyn Dondero Loop, and I will be chairing the Senate Finance Committee this morning. And so we will start out with roll call. Thank you.
Senator Buck, Senator Cannizzaro, Senator Neal, Senator Nguyen, Senator Stone, Senator Taylor, Senator Titus, Chair Dondero Loop.
And I am here. And please mark Senator Neal absent, excused, and if she arrives, present. Thank you very much. Just as a reminder to turn off or mute your cell phones, please, so we don't have any interruptions. And please state and spell your name for the record. And please hand a card to the secretary, a business card, if you have one. So we have several bills to hear today, and so we're going to try to do this as succinctly as we can. I am going to hand this over to my vice chair so that she can take over, and I will come down and do some bills. Oh, pause, time out. We're going to back up. We're going to do some BDR introductions first so that we can get those off to the rest of the staff to prepare. So with that, I'll turn the time over to Mr. Thorley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wayne Thorley for the record, LCB Fiscal Analysis Division. We have two BDRs that require committee introduction this morning. The first is BDR S-1200. This makes an appropriation to the Nevada System of Higher Education to expand undergraduate and graduate nursing programs at institutions within the system. This is a one-shot appropriation bill that was included in the governor's recommended budget. The second BDR is 26-1237. This is a BDR that the Money Committee's requested in closing the Division of Forestry budgets. It makes various changes related to the collection of fees for the Division of Forestry, and also makes changes related to the accounting of revenue and expenditures for out-of-state forest fire suppression. Happy to answer any questions that the committee might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions from anyone on the committee? Not seeing any, I'll accept a motion.
I'd so move to introduce the two BDRs as written.
Thank you very much, Senator Nguyen. A second from Senator Stone. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Thorley. Okay, now we will go to the agenda, and I will hand this over to my vice chair.
We are going to start with Senate Bill 147 in a second. So our plan this morning is to handle SB 147, SB 300, and SB 400, and then there might be some additional changes in the order as listed on the agenda at the discretion of the chair. At this time, I will open the hearing on Senate Bill 147. It creates the Southern Nevada Regional Planning for Economic Resiliency Pilot Program. And at this time, we will turn it over to you, Madam Chair, to begin when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair and members of the Committee on Finance. I am Marilyn Dondero Loop, representing Senate District 8 in Clark County, and I'm here today to present Senate Bill 147, which creates the Southern Nevada Regional Planning for Economic Resiliency Pilot Program. I do have some folks at the desk down in Las Vegas, so I will get to them in a minute. Southern Nevada's rapid population growth is increasing the demands on its infrastructure and transit systems. The region's long-term economic resiliency depends on coordinated planning efforts that address current challenges while preparing for future opportunities. Senate Bill 147 attempts to address those issues, and with that, I'll walk briefly through some of the bill, and then I'm going to let Dr. DeMoore down in Las Vegas make a couple comments. The bill defines the pertinent terms relating to Southern Nevada regional planning for economic resilience. Section 7 requires the Regional Transportation Commission, RTC, of Southern Nevada to establish the Advisory Committee on Regional Planning for Economic Resiliency. Section 8 creates the program and sets forth its responsibilities. Section 9 requires the program to focus on certain population centers in Southern Nevada. Section 10 requires the Commission to prepare a regional infrastructure plan and a written report describing its activities, findings, and recommendations. Section 11 appropriates $650,000 to establish and implement the plan. And introduced, Senate Bill 147 received one fiscal note from the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada. The RTC estimated the fiscal impact of Senate Bill 147 to be $250,000 for the fiscal year 25-26 and $400,000 for 26-27. And Madam Vice Chair, if you don't mind, I would like to turn over just a couple minutes to Dr. DeMoore in Las Vegas.
Go ahead, doctor, and begin when you're ready.
All right. Thank you. Hello, my name is Dr. David DeMoore, D-A-M-O-R-E. I'm the Executive Director of the Lindsay Institute in Brookings Mountain West, 2 donor-supported public policy centers at UNLV. I want to thank the committee for hearing the bill today and Senator Don Darrell Loop for carrying this legislation. I want to provide a little background about the bill before I hand it over to RTC to talk about the mechanics. So last spring, GOED released a Southern Nevada Regional Industrial Center study. This is a report commissioned by GOED, by Brookings Mountain West, Center for Business and Economic Research, and Transportation Research Center at UNLV. And the goal of the report was to identify opportunities for scaled economic industrial development in Clark County, also look at comparison of growth in productivity to neighboring metros. We were also asked to take a look at regional governance and planning capacity needed to identify, prioritize, and develop infrastructure to support economic development and industrial development. Now, what we found was the regions we compete against for business have established structures to organize regionally and develop regional policy responses that are funded with a mix of federal, state, and local resources. In the report, we look in detail at Phoenix, Denver, and Salt Lake. And one of the report's recommendations was that to more effectively compete for economic opportunities, Southern Nevada needs to strengthen its regional development capacity here. And that's what SB 147 does by establishing the Southern Nevada Regional Planning for Economic Resiliency pilot program. The goals of the program are really twofold. They're outlined in sections 8 and 9 of the bill. They essentially evaluate and integrate planning for infrastructure and transit in areas targeted for economic development and redevelopment. So you can think about the plans of the Southern Nevada Strong, LVGEA's work as well. Also calls for community development here and helping to prioritize these programs, and then identify federal and state funding sources to support infrastructure development. The pilot program will be housed within the Metropolitan Planning Organization within the RTC of Southern Nevada. These are what are referred to as MPOs. These are created and funding with the local match by the Federal Highway Administration. And what we find in other metros is that MPOs are integrated into regional governing structures, such as the councils of governments, to leverage those entities' planning expertise and capacity. So we're trying to move in that direction here. The RTC, of course, is well positioned to conduct the pilot program, as an extensive planning capacity, has conducted similar type of work in the past, and oversees currently the Southern Nevada Regional Strong regional plan that's currently being updated. I'm gonna hand it over to Deb Reardon from RTC to talk about the mechanics of the bill.
Thank you, David. Good morning, rather. For the record, I'm Deb Reardon with the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada. Thanks so much to the committee for the opportunity to participate in today's hearing. In summary, the pilot would lead to a prioritized list of the most important projects for economic growth and redevelopment in the region, as well as a review of what infrastructure is needed to support development at these sites, things like utilities, roadways, and transit. It is important to note that the list would be developed based on input received from local governments, stakeholders, as well as community members. The project list would be grouped into packages that then can be used for future grants and to increase the level of federal investment in the region. Since this level of coordinated regional economic development and infrastructure planning is a new undertaking, we would need experts and partners to make it happen. We would hire a project manager, either staff or consultants, to build our capacity and a contractor to provide technical expertise. We know that the pilot would only be as good as the engagement and inputs received from stakeholders. Therefore, the plan would be developed through community engagement, including the formation of an advisory committee. The advisory committee would include representatives with experience in regional planning, economic development or redevelopment, workforce development, infrastructure, and transit. The bill also specifies that the committee would include representatives from the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, the Vegas Chamber, Clark County, and the cities of Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas, Boulder City, and Mesquite. The committee would really guide the development of this project list and its recommendations, which would be summarized in a report. The report would then be submitted to the RTC board, which includes Clark County and our 5 cities, for review and approval. Following RTC board approval, the report would then be submitted to the state as outlined in the bill. The RTC is willing and able to fill this gap in regional planning and coordination. As the Metropolitan Planning Organization for Southern Nevada, the RTC regularly serves as a convener as well as a facilitator. We administer federal planning funds and grants, contracts for planning studies and outreach, and the Southern Nevada Strong Regional Plan. However, the RTC relies on federal transportation planning funds, which are restricted to transportation planning activities only. A state funding source would enable the RTC to conduct comprehensive infrastructure planning to support economic development and redevelopment projects that strengthen and diversify our region's economy. Funds would be utilized for an additional planner over a 2-year period and consultant services. And given the state's current budget deficit, we had a chance to revisit this budget and compared it against current costs. Based on this review, we believe that the budget that is proposed is conservative. Thank you so much for your attention, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are you ready for questions?
We are. Thank you.
Do we have any questions from committee members? Go ahead, Senator Canizaro.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I first want to just thank you, Madam Chair, for bringing this bill. I think this is really smart policy, and I think it's always good to kind of have something to help us be forward thinking when we talk about infrastructure and we talk about some of the things that are outlined within this bill. And so I just wanted to first say thank you because I really like this bill, and I think it's a great idea. I want to talk just a minute about the fiscal note. I just see one fiscal note from the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada. And as I understand it, this is not money that would be general funded. This would be something that the Regional Transportation Commission would have as an expense. And so is it your intent to have them then sort of cover that? Or would this be a request for us to fund with general fund dollars?
Marilyn Dondero Loop, for the record, thank you very much for the question, Majority Leader. And I will ask either Dr. Demore or Ms. Reedon to answer that question from their perspective.
If you take a look, David Demore for the record. So Section 11 does call for appropriation from the state general fund to cover those costs.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to confirm that because we had the fiscal note, but then also the appropriation in the bill. And so I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page there. But wanted to thank you because I think this is a great bill.
Thank you very much.
I don't see any other questions, so we'll go ahead and begin testimony in support of Senate Bill 147. If you are here to testify in support of Senate Bill 147, please make your way up to the table here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. And go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Trevor Parrish with the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber is in support of this measure from the fiscal perspective. Thank you.
And I don't see anyone else in Las Vegas coming up to the table, although I would ask our presenters to go ahead and step back just to make sure that we have those seats open, available for anyone that wants to come in and testify. I still don't see anyone, so if we can go to the phone lines for testimony in support of Senate Bill 147.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in support of SB 147, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer support testimony at this time.
Thank you. Next, we will go into opposition testimony. If you're here to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 147, please come up to the table, either here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. I don't see anyone coming to either table, so if we can go to the phone lines for any opposition testimony.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 147, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer opposition testimony at this time.
And finally, we'll go to neutral testimony. If you're here to testify in neutral, please come up to the table. Seeing no one in Las Vegas and no one here in Carson City, if we can go to the phone lines for neutral testimony.
Thank you. If you would like to offer neutral testimony for SB 147, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you. And do you have any closing remarks, Chair? So you're waving them off. So at this time, I will close the hearing on Senate Bill 147, and I will open the hearing on Senate Bill 300. Invite you back up to the table, Senator Dondero Loop, and go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair and members of the committee. Once again, my name is Marilyn Dondero for the record, and I represent, I guess I forgot the loop at the end there, didn't I? And I represent Senate District 8 in Clark County. I am honored to present Senate Bill 300, which makes revisions relating to Medicaid. Currently, the Department of Health and Human Services provides that Medicaid will provide coverage of services offered by a psychiatrist, psychologist, advanced practice registered nurse, APRN, marriage and family therapist, or a licensed clinical social worker at a federal qualified health center. In 2023, this federal statute was expanded to authorize federal financial participation for Medicaid coverage of services provided by mental health counselors, including alcohol and drug counselors and problem gambling counselors who hold a master's degree or higher, along with professional counselors who provide services at FQHCs. This bill aims to codify the existing federal requirement that Medicaid covers services performed by a list of professionals as it was amended in 2023. It also requires the director of DHHS to apply for any waiver of federal law that is necessary to carry out the provisions of this bill. The bill was amended in the first house to include clinical professional counselors, licensed alcohol and drug counselors or licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselors, and a master's level intern practicing under the direct supervision of a provider of health care listed previously who practices in the same profession as the master's level intern. As I mentioned before, this is already required on the federal level, so this bill would simply codify these provisions into Nevada law. And I know that I have several experts behind me, but if there are any questions, Madam Vice Chair, we stand ready.
And I'm not sure if anyone, if Administrator Weeks or anyone from Medicaid might be here, but is this something, I believe that the fiscal note that is from the Division of Healthcare Financing and Policy, based on the qualifications, do you know if there's someone that, can I have you come at the table? I'm thinking that we might be able to use the provider tax fees to cover some of these costs, and I was wondering if you might be able to confirm whether or not this $91,463 over the 25-27 biennium would be able to be covered with that provider tax.
Good morning, Madam Vice Chair, committee members. Ann Jensen for the record, agency manager at Nevada Medicaid. We will bring this back to our fiscal team to confirm. I believe under statute for the provider assessment, this would align. However, there are some complexities with billing at federally qualified health centers, and I want to ensure that we're in no conflict there. So we will take that back and get back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Do we have any other further questions from the committee? Seeing none, we will begin testimony in support of Senate Bill 300. So if you're here to testify in support, please come up to the table and begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Helen Foley, and I am the chairman of the board of First Med, which is a federally qualified health center in Southern Nevada. First Med provides all of the services for Child Haven and for the vast majority of the 3,800 foster children in the system in Southern Nevada. We discovered that licensed professional counselors and also alcohol and drug abuse counselors had not specifically been placed in the law. It's important that all of these individuals who provide the services, you heard the laundry list before, that they are all minimum of a master's level mental health professional. This will help us provide services to far more individuals. A lot of this money is paid by the federal government. $182,000, I think, is the maximum amount that the state would incur over the biennium. First Med has the gold standard for FQHCs, meaning that it is in the top 10% of all FQHCs in the country. We are very proud of the services that we provide. We have a clinic in North Las Vegas on Martin Luther King. We have one on Shadow Lane. We have another at Eastern and Desert Inn, taking care of an awful lot of Hispanic individuals. And then, of course, our clinic at Child Haven, which is open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. And we get our children into services that they need. Imagine if a child has been taken away from their family and is in custody. The vast majority of the help that they need is mental health. And so this will help us do our job much better. So thank you very much.
Good morning, Vice Chair and Committee. My name is Sabrina Schnur, Sabrina Schnur, and I'm here on behalf of the Nevada Primary Care Association, which is the state's federally qualified health centers. We are in support, and ditto Ms. Foley.
Thank you. And if we could go to Las Vegas, go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Good morning, Madam Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Dr. Robert Toledo, R-O-B-E-R-T, Toledo, T-O-L-E-D-O, and I have the privilege of serving as the medical director at Desert Treatment Clinic. I am board certified in obstetrics and gynecology as well as in addiction medicine. At Desert Treatment Clinic, we specialize in the treatment of opioid use disorder through a combination of medication, assisted treatment, and comprehensive behavioral health services. Our mission is to provide compassionate, evidence-based care that empowers individuals to reclaim their lives from the grips of addiction. At Desert Treatment Clinic, we've been part of Clark County community for 15 years. It was established in response to the rising demand for effective opioid treatment of pregnant women. Our focus has been to serve our most vulnerable neighbors with dignity, respect, and individualized care. Today, we provide care for over 350 clients each day. And in addition to medication-assisted treatment, we offer counseling, psychotherapy, and work closely with medical professionals to address the full spectrum of our clients' needs. Our team is deeply committed to walking alongside every individual on their journey to recovery. And especially critical part of our work is with pregnant women who are battling opioid addiction. Each year, we support approximately 50 pregnant women through a combination of medical care, behavioral support, and community resources. Supporting these women means creating healthier families and breaking the cycle of addiction that can affect generations. However, despite the importance of this work, we are facing a significant and longstanding funding barrier. The daily reimbursement rate for medication has not increased since 1980. For more than 4 decades, this rate has remained unchanged, even as the costs and demands have risen dramatically. This underfunding threatens our ability to expand services to meet the growing needs of our community and jeopardizes the lives of women and children we serve. We are doing everything we can with these resources, but truly to meet this moment, we need the ability to grow. We need the ability to reach more people, and we are asking for a reimbursement system that reflects the realities of modern healthcare. I urge you to support SB 300. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else in Las Vegas or here in Carson City, if we can go to the phone lines and see if there's anyone to testify in support of Senate Bill 300.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in support of SB 300, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits, 202. You are unmuted on our end. You may be muted on yours.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay?
We can. Go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Wonderful. Good morning. This is Erin Donahue for the record, Donohue. Good morning, Madam Vice Chair and members of the committee. Before I begin, I'd like to thank 3 very important people. Thank you to Senator Dondero Loop for allowing us to partner with her on this critical issue. We also would like to thank Stacy Weeks with DHCFP for working with us on our amendment, as well as Helen Foley for allowing us to jump on her bill. My name is Erin Donahue, and I am the Regional Director for Acadia's Comprehensive Treatment Centers, or CTCs, and I oversee 3 opioid treatment programs in Clark County, Nevada. Our clinics provide vital and life-saving medication-assisted treatment, or MAT, to over 800 patients per day who are struggling with opioid use disorder. In Nevada, opioid treatment programs have long operated at a financial loss due to inadequate reimbursement rates, despite our services playing a critical role in combating Nevada's opioid crisis. This is why we, along with other providers and the Nevada Opioid Treatment Association, or NOTA, are providing testimony in support of the proposed rate increase that will support these life-saving programs. Opioid use disorder continues to be a public health crisis in the state that is getting worse. While states across the country saw overdose deaths due to opioids decline, Nevada actually saw a 23% increase in overdose deaths from 2022 to 2023. Nevada and South Dakota were the only states to see such an increase. Nevada's overdose crisis is being attributed to a surge in fentanyl and a lack of accessible treatment, according to a report from the Clark County Opioid Task Force. The most recent data from the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services in 2022 shows over 500 fentanyl-related overdose deaths in the state, which is a sharp increase from previous years. This alarming rise in fentanyl fatalities makes the need for expanded treatment options more urgent than ever. With fentanyl now driving the majority of opioid-related deaths in Nevada, increasing access to medication-assisted treatment through OTPs is crucial in preventing further loss of life. Providing medication-assisted treatment requires a dedicated multidisciplinary team, including licensed nurses, physicians, certified counselors, and administrative staff. With rising personnel costs, medication expenses, licensing fees, and operational overhead, sustaining services under the current reimbursement rates is becoming increasingly difficult. The proposed rate increase is a critical step forward in providing treatment to more Nevadans, helping to address the opioid crisis still ravaging our state. Because of this, I urge you to support SB 300. Again, I thank you all so much for your time today and for your attention to this critical matter.
Thank you. Do we have any other callers in support of Senate Bill 300 at this time?
There are no other callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you. Next, we'll move into opposition testimony. Is there anyone to testify in opposition? Seeing no one here in Carson City, no one in Las Vegas, if we can go to the phone lines for any opposition testimony to Senate Bill 300.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in opposition to SB 300, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you. And finally, we'll go to neutral testimony. If you're here to testify in neutral, please come up to the table. Seeing no one here in Carson City or in Las Vegas, if we can go to the phone lines for neutral testimony.
If you would like to offer neutral testimony for SB 300, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you. And we will close testimony of that. Do you have any closing remarks to say? Go ahead and come back up to the table. I will tell you, Chair, that during the testimony, I did get confirmation from Medicaid that the provider fee would be able to cover the costs contained in the fiscal note.
Marilyn Dondero Loop, for the record. Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. And I think that I need to be clear because there is a amendment that includes the increase of certain rates of reimbursement under Medicaid. So I would like, if with your permission, to call Serena Kasama to the table. And she is going to talk just for a minute about the amendment that is proposed. And the reason is because we found that this fit within the NRS statutes and that this will help for the purposes of the funding mechanism.
Perfect. Go ahead and come up to the table, Ms. And go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Thank you, members of the committee. Regarding this amendment, we do also want to appreciate Senator Dondero Loop as well as Helen Foley for allowing us to add this proposed amendment to this bill. What it would do is involves the increase of certain Medicaid reimbursement rates. So I will just read the amendment. It's very quick. It would add an additional section to create a phase-in process for additional rate increases over a 2-year process. Year 1 is to include an increase to $10 per transaction for the rate of reimbursement, which is provided on a fee-for-service basis pursuant to the state plan for medication administration provided by an opioid treatment program provider. Then year 2 to include an increase to $15.34 per transaction for the rate of reimbursement, which is provided on a fee-for-service basis pursuant to the state plan for medication administration provided by an opioid treatment provider. Then this increase will include a stipulation that the increase from $10 to $15.34 per transaction is to happen only if sufficient funding is available for the increase. And then for the purpose of this section, the funding mechanism will come from budget account 3177, which is the hospital provider tax fund account, as well as another section for the implementation date on October 1st, 2025. I'm happy to answer any questions. Currently, this reimbursement rate has not really changed for several decades. So currently sits a little over $3 per transaction. This is something that is really critical to these providers, and we confirmed that it was germane with LCB, and we have worked with DHCFP where they added an adjustment so that it would go from medication-assisted treatment to medication administration, and they also confirmed that at the current level of the provider tax, they are able to sustain the increase using those funds. They only had questions on, based on some other federal aspects, if they will have enough to raise it to $15.34, but at the $10 increase, they do have enough at its current hospital provider tax rate.
I'm sorry, can you please state your name for the record and spell it?
Serena Kasama.
And can you spell that for our...
SERENAKASAMA.
Thank you, Ms. Kasama. Has this amendment been filed or is this conceptual? And if you do have a copy of whatever you're reading, if you could provide that to our staff, I think that would be greatly appreciated as well. And I think this has brought up a couple other questions, but go ahead.
And I apologize for having to rehear what we heard. And yes, we do have a copy of the amendment, and we have cleared this through Ms. Weeks' department.
Do you know if you can clarify what that new fiscal note would be based on this proposed amendment change to increase that provider fee? Because I imagine it's quite a bit.
It's about 1.7 million.
Is that in each year of the biennium or over the total?
Over the total.
Okay. Do we have any other further questions? I think we do from Senator Cannizzaro.
Yes, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So the proposed conceptual amendment is an increase for Medicaid reimbursement rates that we would pay for with provider tax.
That is correct.
Is there anywhere else, Ms. Kasama, that you are aware of where we are paying for Medicaid reimbursement rates through provider taxes?
That I will have to follow up with Stacy and her team, but they also, it was at the request of Stacy Weeks that we specify in our conceptual that the funding mechanism will be budget account 3177, which is the hospital provider tax.
And you said it was 4.7 for the total over the biennium?
Yes, around that. I can get the exact number, but it's 1.7 million. And then
Are you saying 1.7 or 4.7?
1.7, sorry.
Okay. I ask because I think that this is familiar to another bill that seems like it might have been a little bit more than that. So I just want to make sure we are getting an accurate number on that. So if you can get that information to us, that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Do we have any other further questions? Okay. Yeah, I think it would be helpful to see some of that additional language, especially for our staff as they're trying to figure out that fiscal information. I'm sure they'll reach out as they're preparing that amendment with Administrator Weeks. And with that, I will go ahead and close the hearing on Senate Bill 300 and open the hearing on Senate Bill 400. And you're up again.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and thank you for your patience on that last bill as we worked through a couple things. Hopefully, this will be a little more succinct. All right, thank you, Madam Vice Chair again, and members of the committee. I am Marilyn Dondero Loop, representing District 8, and I am here today to present Senate Bill 400 for your consideration. This bill seeks to adopt similar provisions in state statute to the requirements in the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, as they relate to the continuity of services for special education students transferring schools. This bill also creates an endorsement to teach art or music, and I am proposing an amendment which I will address further on in the presentation. I would like to start with just some overview information to address Senate Bill 400. When a child transfers to another school, it's always a stressful experience, and special education students rely on their individual instruction and accommodations and support services listed in their IEPs to succeed in school. Disruptions in any of these services can negatively impact their academic progress and social-emotional development. Therefore, keeping their support system intact is critical for smoother school transition and maintaining services for the child. I am proud to say that Nevada has come a long way, also in the arts and music education. We also know there is a need for more qualified teachers in the classroom with arts and musics and all of our demanding special areas, including special ed. In Section 1, the nemesis of this bill is that if a child transfers from one school to another, within or outside of the state, the child must continue to receive those services outlined in their IEP from their previous school until another IEP is developed, adopted, and implemented. It is critically important that these special education students continue to receive those services they need, and there is no need for a gap in those delivery of those services. And Section 2 requires the Commission on Professional Standards in Education within the Department of Ed adopt regulations for an endorsement to teach art or music at an elementary, middle, junior high, or secondary school, and prohibits the Commission from requiring such endorsements to teach related content. And then finally, in its first reprint, there is, apologies, I'll skip ahead. However, I am proposing an amendment today that deletes sections 1.3 and 1.7 related to the provision of pay scale for an education support staff. And so with that, what we are proposing today is that we will have an amendment that deletes section 1.3 and 1.7 relating to the provision of a pay scale for education support staff who have obtained a new degree. And we will make that clear to our small schools of less than 500 students, and our small school districts of less than 200,000 students. And with that, Madam Vice Chair, I stand ready for any questions.
Do we have any questions from the committee? I do have a copy of this amendment, and I think what you were referencing is a conceptual amendment that we have on our desks. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. But that doesn't change the fiscal impact at all for the state?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Marilyn Dondero Loop, for the record. Originally, the bill included some other areas of expertise within the education field, and we have eliminated that and only added that we would have designated the art and music teachers in those classes, and continued to have students with IEPs and their services be continuous when they transfer within or without of this, or from outside the state.
Okay, wonderful. I don't see any other questions from committee members, so at this time, we will go ahead and begin testimony in support of Senate Bill 400. Again, I'll remind everyone, it is okay to say me too, or yes, I support, or be brief. We do have 10 bills on the agenda this morning, so just a quick reminder.
Good morning, Madam Vice Chair, and we will be very quick. Mary Przenski, representing Nevada Association of School Superintendents, and we're in support of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Amanda Brazo-Nolting here on behalf of UNLV. We are also in support of the bill. Thank you.
Good morning, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Tom Clark. I'm here on behalf of the Nevada Association of School Boards, and I'll do a me too.
Perfect. I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. We can go to the phone lines with a gentle reminder that encouragement and support can be brief. If there are any callers on the line to testify in support.
Thank you, Vice Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 400, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you. And finally, we'll go to opposition testimony on Senate Bill 400. If you are here to testify in opposition, please come up to the table. Seeing no one here in Carson City or in Las Vegas, if we can go to the phone line. And again, a reminder that your opposition, it can be brief as well. Go ahead and begin if you are any callers in opposition.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in opposition to SB 400, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you. And while we are on the phone lines, I will go to neutral testimony. Is there anyone to testify neutral on the phone lines?
Thank you. If you would like to offer neutral testimony for SB 400, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you. We'll go to the room here. Is there anyone to testify neutral on this bill? Seeing no one coming up to the table, either here in Carson City or in Las Vegas, do you have any closing remarks? She's waving them off. So with that, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 400, and I will give the chair just a moment to get back up to her desk to take over the duties.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair, for your assistance there. And we will go to Senate Bill 6, and we will welcome Senator Scheibel to the table. Please go ahead when you're ready.
Good morning, Senate Finance Committee. My name is Melanie Scheibel for the record. I'm the state senator from District 9. I'm delighted to be joined by Tracy Brower this morning from the Desert Research Institute to talk to you just a little bit about Nevada's cloud seeding program, which SB 6 seeks to fund. Cloud seeding is a long-standing scientific method for increasing rainfall and snowfall in the upper Sierra Nevada mountains, leading to larger snowpacks, leading to larger quantities of water here in the driest state in the nation. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Brower just to provide a brief overview.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Tracy Bauer with the Desert Research Institute. The state funded DRI to conduct a cloud seeding experiment in the 1970s. The success of that experiment led to the state funding for the Nevada State Cloud Seeding Program, which operated from the early 1980s through 2009. Funding was halted due to the funding shortfall in the Great Recession. When that funding halted, DRI worked with local water agencies to conduct cloud seeding where possible, but the patchwork nature of that funding makes it less efficient and more expensive than a statewide program. The projects are often not funded by local sponsors until drought conditions become critical for water supplies, missing out on opportunities to generate additional snowfall before the situation becomes dire. The legislature approved SB 99 in the 2023 legislative session to bring back funding for the cloud seeding program, and that's allowed DRI to operate the state-owned cloud seeding generators that were built by DRI. During the winter 2023-2024, an estimated 56,282 acre-feet of additional snow water equivalent was produced from our ground-based network. The project was conducted in the Humboldt River Basin, including the Ruby Mountains and the Santa Rosa Mountains, the Truckee River Basin, and the Spring Mountains. That 56,000 acre-feet is enough water for more than 140,000 Nevada homes at a cost of about $10.60 per acre-foot of water. The continuity of funding that SB 6 will provide will allow DRI to continue to generate additional water resources for the state and to keep the state-owned equipment in good repair. With that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions, committee? Okay, looks like you did a good job explaining. Thank you very much. And with that, if you'll step back, we'll go to those in support of Senate Bill 6.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Alejandro Rodriguez, Nevada System of Higher Education, and she is in strong support of SB 6. This crucial program for our state is one of our board's operating priorities, so we urge your support. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Shelby Beetz, B-I-E-T-Z, here on behalf of the University of Nevada, Reno, and we are also in support of this bill. Thank you.
Good morning, Kathy Flanagan, representing the Southern Nevada Water Authority, in strong support of SB 6.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Trevor Parrish with the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber has historically supported this appropriation, and we are supportive of this session as well. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Don Darrow Loop and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Jeff Fontaine. I'm the Executive Director of the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority and also the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority, and both of the regional water authorities are in support of SB 6. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing no more additional support, we'll go to Las Vegas. Seeing none there, we'll go to the phone lines. AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to offer testimony in support of SB 6, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last three digits 715, please press star 6 to unmute yourself and you may begin.
Oh, I'm Bud Watkins, Chairman of the Nye County Private Well Association. We support SB 6. At String Mountain itself, we have had in the last 2 years 6.9 billion gallons of snow water added at the cost of $10.60 an acre versus creek drilling at $11,500 per acre. Please support this bill. Thank you.
Next caller, please.
There are no other callers wishing to offer support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in opposition to SB 6, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Hello, my name is Gloria Charlene. Thank you for having me here. I am in opposition of SB 6. We are not notified of all of the chemicals that are coming down on us because of what you guys call cloud seeding, and there's a high exposure rate of lead, aluminum, and more. And I know I get sick from it, and so many others do as well, with all the chemtrails in the sky and what is called cloud seeding, but really it's chemicals falling down on the earth. It's hurting our livestock, it's hurting our plants, and it's hurting us. Our health is not worth $10 or any amount of money. Our health is our wealth, and I'm strongly opposed against SB 6. Thank you.
Next caller, please.
There are no more callers wishing to offer opposition testimony at this time.
We'll go to neutral. And with that, anyone in here in Carson City in neutral, Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 6, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing remarks? Senator Scheibel, thank you very much. We'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 6. And Senator Scheibel, would you like us to jump ahead in the agenda? I get a smile on that one. So with that being said, we will jump ahead to Senate Bill 88, which is also Senator Scheibel. And with that, Senator Scheibel, when you are ready, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Chair Don Darrow Loop and members of the Senate Finance Committee. My name is still Melanie Scheibel, and I represent Senate District 9 in Southwest Las Vegas. I am so excited to be here presenting SB 88 to you this morning. Basically, what SB 88 does is it allows people who have been released from the Nevada Department of Corrections to start their lives over, get a job, get started getting to work, and not have to pay the prison back for medical care that they received while they were there. They're currently being assessed a debt when they have to be taken off campus to receive medical care in the community. That the cost of that medical care is being added to that person's books, essentially in a negative way, so that when they are released from prison, traditionally the Nevada Department of Corrections has been taking them to collections to follow up on that debt and try to receive it back. Not only has this been incredibly unsuccessful, the Department of Corrections has received pennies on the dollar back for it, but it has been probably more expensive to try to collect the debt than the debt is actually worth. When we heard this bill in the Senate Judiciary Committee, I don't think I could overstate how enthusiastically the committee passed the bill out of the committee, because it's just good policy. It is such a simple way that we can empower people who are leaving the Department of Corrections to start their lives over in a sensible way that makes sense for everybody. It helps those who are being released. It helps relieve burdens on the Department of Corrections, and it's the right thing to do. So I will turn it over to Nick Shepak, who I think can do an even better job of explaining this than I can.
Thank you, Chair and committee members. My name is Nick Shepak, N-I-C-K-S-H-E-P-A-C-K. I am the Nevada State Director of the Fines and Fees Justice Center. And I'll just add a few things briefly. I think the Senator did a great job of explaining. One thing I want to make clear is that the passage of this bill would not impact payments to providers in any way. The Department of Corrections pays in full for the medical care, and then individuals reimburse what is the Inmate Welfare Fund, which is where that money comes from. Inmate Welfare Fund is made up mostly of dollars from things like commissary markups, phone calls, it will be tablet money, things like that. This money goes back to reimburse that fund. What we see is the current note is $9,715 per year. However, when you look at a 10-year average, actual collections were closer to $7,500. And over the last 2 years, they collected about $6,000. There's currently over $12 million of outstanding debt. So the collection rates on this type of debt for individuals who have been released is at best 0.0008% of all outstanding debt annually. And testimony during the Senate hearing, the NDOC said they can spend around as much as $5,400 a year in an attempt to collect this debt, which, as I said, for the last 2 years was around $6,000. Some additional factors to take into consideration on the fiscal side is that when formerly incarcerated individuals are sent to collections, they are given 30 days to pay this debt in full. Sometimes that debt is in the tens of thousands of dollars. It is an impossible task. They are unable to build credit. We had testimony from formerly incarcerated individuals who, even after they found jobs, because they spent so long in debt collection, they were unable to rent homes. Even when they had money, they were unable to get car loans, which will have a negative impact financially on the state. Bad credit and an inability to do things like rent apartments is devastating for re-entry and leads to recidivism. Even if one individual goes back into NDOC because of this debt, it is going to cost the state more money than passing this legislation. We have Russ Alfano here from NDOC if you have any specific questions about how this works on the department side. And with that, I think we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. And with that, I think we do have a question from Senator Wynn.
I think you mostly answered it. I just wanted to make sure, and it was very clear on the record, that one, all of these providers that are in the community that are treating these individuals that have been transported, usually not of their own volition because they are such a medical state that they have to go out to an outside services, are still getting paid, one, two. And what this even decrease of $9,715 contained in this fiscal note doesn't take into consideration the number of hours that the staff is utilizing to collect this $9,715. So more of a comment than anything. So thank you for the presentation.
Melanie Scheibel, for the record, I will just confirm that is accurate. And I also wanted to just put a finer point on something I confirmed this morning. That money does not come out of the general fund. It's from the Inmate Welfare Fund. So even if there is a shortfall, it's not out of the general fund, it's the Inmate Welfare Fund.
Thank you very much. Any additional questions? Can you give us a definition of the Inmate Welfare Fund?
Melanie Scheibel, for the record, I don't know about a definition, but I can explain what it is. The Inmate Welfare Fund is managed by the Nevada Department of Corrections. That is what is generally utilized to cover certain kinds of programming within the department. And the money comes from things like phone calls, commissary, previously medical debt was put into the Inmate Welfare Fund. And it is completely contained within the Nevada Department of Corrections.
Okay, thank you very much. And the reason I asked for that is because the some of that money is inmate paid money, like their phone calls, for example. So it's not all state money.
Correct. I think it is, Melanie Scheibel, for the record, I believe it is all inmate paid money. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's why I asked that question. All right, any additional questions? All right, not seeing any. If you want to step back, we'll go to those in support of Senate Bill 88 here in Carson City. In Las Vegas, if you're at the table for support for Senate Bill 88, please go ahead. Is your microphone on? Doesn't look like it. Okay, pause on that. All right, we'll go to the phone lines. AVH, those in support of Senate Bill 88, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 88, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning. My name is Denise Bolaños Heredia, BOLANOSHEREDIA, and I'm the Associate Director of Return Strong. We're an organization that advocates for the rights and dignity of incarcerated people and their families. We strongly support SB 88, and we urge you to do so also. It costs the department more to pursue this medical debt than what's actually recovered. So in reality, continuing to chase this debt is not only fiscally irresponsible, it yields no return, and eliminating it reduces wasteful spending, and it also gives people a real second chance by removing a barrier to successful reentry. So we urge you to support SB 88. Thank you.
If you have recently joined us and would like to testify in support of SB 88, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Williams. I am on the board of directors with Return Strong. I fully support this bill. Reentry after being incarcerated is hard enough, and to add a medical debt is just another obstacle. Once released, any debt incurred within the NDOC should be eliminated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next caller, please.
There are no more callers to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Those in opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 88, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we'll go to neutral here in Carson City, Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 88, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And the person at the table in Las Vegas, are you testifying on Senate Bill 88?
Yes, my apologies, Senator. Dr. Ken Williams, KenWilliams, Medical Director for the Nevada Department of Correction, and we're neutral on the position.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your testimony. Thank you. All right. I think with that, Senator Scheibel. Okay, then we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 88, and we'll open the hearing on Senate Bill 432, and we'll welcome back our Senator Scheibel.
Hello again. Still Melanie Scheibel from Senate District 9 in Las Vegas.
Can you show us your ID, please?
I sure can. And thank you for hearing SB 432 this morning. I will skip over the policy of the bill because it has already been heard in a policy committee. It basically affects the privacy rights of people who are going through divorce and child custody proceedings. The policy committee saw fit to send it, through the committee as an amend do pass vote, and it has been sent here to the finance committee because there is a small fiscal note on the bill, which I understand is because there is a possible penalty in the bill if an individual takes part in what we would normally call doxing, if they utilize information gained from a private hearing to publicly post somebody else's personal information, their address, their place of work, something like that, and encourage others to commit an act of violence against them. This bill carves out a specific penalty for that, which would be a Category C felony. Therefore, it is theoretically possible that somebody would violate the law, and it is therefore theoretically possible that that person would be sent to prison, in which case it would cost us money to incarcerate that person. That is my understanding of the fiscal note. I would hope that we would take measures to prevent these things from happening. I would not anticipate this having a significant impact on the prison population, and I hope that you will consider allowing this bill to move forward.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, I'll ask if there are any questions on Senate Bill 432. Seeing none, we'll go to those in support of Senate Bill 432 here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. The public lines are open and working, but there are no callers to provide testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
There are no callers to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. There are no callers to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing remarks, Senator Scheibel? All right, you're off the hook. Thank you very much. We'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 432, and we will open the hearing on Senate Bill 36, and we'll welcome Senator Pizzina to the table. Thank you, Senator Pizzina, for your patience as we work through those bills.
Thank you so much, Chair Dendera-Loop, Vice Chair Wynn, and the Senate Committee on Finance. And I'm also free to show my ID if you'd like to see it. My name is Julie Pizzina.
We're checking those in this committee today. Thank you.
I am ready. My name is Julie Pizzina for the record, and I represent Senate District 12 in Clark County. And thank you for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 36 from the fiscal side, which establishes provisions relating to conservation of groundwater. I do have today, if you're looking to ask questions, some people, we can answer some more questions, but just to skip the policy because we've already done that. We're not asking for an appropriation, and the fiscal note has been removed from DCNR. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions on the policy or discuss the policy if you'd like, but I recognize how busy this committee is and don't want to waste your time.
Thank you so much for that information. So the fiscal note has been removed. Thank you very much. Any questions on Senate Bill 36? All righty, with that, you can step back. Thank you very much. We'll go to those in support of Senate Bill 36 here in Carson City. Please come forward.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Christy Cabrera-Georgeson. I'm the Deputy Director of the Nevada Conservation League. We are here in strong support of SB 36. Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Flanagan, representing the Southern Nevada Water Authority in support of SB 36. We'd like to thank Senator Pizzina for all her hard work on this measure, which we feel is an important and necessary step in protecting the water resources of the driest state in the nation. Thank you.
Hello, committee. My name is Laurel Saito, and I'm the Nevada Water Strategy Director for the Nevada chapter of the Nature Conservancy. We thank Senator Pizzina and the Interim Committee of Natural Resources for bringing forward Senate Bill 36 on groundwater rights retirement and recognizing the importance of water resources for the future of the health and well-being of the people and economies of our state. Impacts of overuse of groundwater can take years, decades, or even centuries to reverse, and in some cases such as the loss of species, they are irreversible. Building on lessons learned from other states in the pilot Nevada Water Conservation and Infrastructure Initiative, SB 36 creates a tool to address groundwater overuse by establishing a voluntary groundwater rights retirement program in Nevada that is aimed at permanently reducing consumptive use of groundwater in places with declining groundwater levels. Should the bill be groundwater levels conflicts with existing water resources or impacts to groundwater-dependent ecosystems. Should the bill be enacted, we stand ready to help with implementing a voluntary groundwater rights retirement program by seeking funds and implementing projects that can demonstrate effective groundwater retirement. We urge your support for this important legislation.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Excuse me, Chair Dondero Loop and members of the committee, for the record, I'm Jeff Fontaine, Executive Director of the Humboldt River Basin Water Authority and the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority. We also would like to thank Senator Pezzina, and we're here to support SB 36. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional support here in Carson City, in Las Vegas? On the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 36, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Good morning. Reagan Comas with R&R Partners here today representing Walker Basin Conservancy, and we would just like to express our support for SB 36 and thank Senator Pezzina. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. There are no other callers wishing to provide testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll take testimony in opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please, opposition.
Thank you, Chair. The public lines are open and working. There are no callers to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we will take those in neutral. Welcome, Mr. Settlemeyer.
Thank you, Chair. James Settlemeyer, Director of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We are neutral on the bill, but greatly appreciate Senator Pezzina working with us and the stakeholders to get the bill where it is now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll take any other testimony in neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Chair. There are no callers to provide initial testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, any closing comments? Thank you, Senator Pezzina, for being with us today. And with that, I will go to Senate Bill 317 and welcome Senator Daley.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Skip Daly representing Senate District 13. Today's an unusual day. I think this is the first time I've ever been in front of the Senate Finance Committee. Ways and Means a couple of times, but never here before, and never with 3 bills before either. So first one on 317 is a workman's compensation biannual, pretty much omnibus bill where all of the parties have worked through. We had a meeting in my office last week, and one of the people at the meeting said we had white smoke. So we think everybody's we think everybody is at least to the neutral position or in support. The two gentlemen here can go through the policy, any questions that you like. I know we heard the bill. If you want to hear a brief overview, you can let me know. And then in regard to the fiscal NOR provisions, as I think everybody knows, that the Division of Industrial Relations for the Workmen's Comp is not a budget impact or state general fund issue. It's all paid for by an assessment on the employers. That would be the administration for any of the hearings and various things as well. So we're hoping we can get the bill passed out of here with that understanding that it doesn't really affect the state budget. If you want to hear from anybody on the policy, we're happy to do that.
Thank you very much. Any questions on Senate Bill 317? Why don't you give us just a, like, 2-sentence overview so that we understand what where the bill is going. Mr. Mills, go ahead, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, Jason Mills, JASOM-MILLS of the Nevada Justice Association. As Senator Daley indicated, it is the omnibus workers' compensation bill that does various changes throughout the act that already went through the policy committee. I think the most important thing for your committee, Madam Chair, is the fiscal note is in fact an assessment that the Division of Industrial Relations indicated in meetings with them just a couple of weeks ago that their note would go down to 215, and the parties, whether it be gaming, insurers, the industry, have indicated that that is a reasonable assessment that they would be able to absorb, and that the Nevada Hearings Division is the addition of a appeals officer and a litigation paralegal, legal secretary, and that is the cost for the assessment there. And the industry has generally been in support of those assessments because, again, these are not general fund items. Happy to go over in any details about the bill, but I just wanted to hit those issues for you.
Thank you very much, and I would appreciate some information on this amendment. It's a very large amendment with a lot of, it appears, many changes in many, many different colors. So if you could please go over the amendment as we look at it. I see new things added, but I also see things taken out, so.
Yes, Madam Chair, Jason Mills, Nevada Justice Association. If you'll note that the version that we've supplied, it's called Final Version 5/16/2025. This is actually, the entire thing is cut and paste from LCB's Amendment 312, so only the sections that are highlighted, which is sections 4.2, 4.3, 4.5, 9.5, 9.7, 14, 17, 30, and 35 are the actual changes that are happening here. So only those sections that are highlighted are the alterations. And what these were to do was to address a couple of policy issues that the DIR had that affected their impact, and also to affect the changes, I believe, that was some entities wanted with regard to the start and stop dates. But if you scroll through, you'll notice only the highlighted sections are the updates, and they're quite minor. And I can walk through each one of those if you'd like me to, Madam Chair.
Questions from the committee? All right, not seeing any, then if you are finished describing the bill, then we will ask you to step back and we will do those in support of Senate Bill 317.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Jason Lesher, Lesher, with the Washoe County Sheriff Deputies Association and also the Public Safety Alliance of Nevada, and we are in support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Don Darrell, Misty Grimmer, GRIMMER, wearing two hats, actually, Employers Insurance Company and also the Nevada Resort Association, and we also were in support of the bill. Thank you.
Good morning. For the record, Paul Enos. I'm the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association. We are also the sponsor of the Nevada Transportation Network Self-Insure Group, and we are here today in support of 317, and just want to thank all the proponents through their work and negotiations and coming up with something that all of us could agree on. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Andy McKay, Executive Director of the Nevada Franchise Auto Dealers Association. In brevity, we fully support the bill and then want to thank Senator Daley as well as particularly Mr. Mills and his team for working with us. This is a great piece of legislation, so thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Dalton Hooks, Hooks. On behalf of the Nevada Self-Insurers Association, I want to echo the comments of Mr. Mills, which is unusual, and thank Senator Daley for his work getting this bill whipped into shape, and we appreciate it. Strongly support.
Thank you very much. We like when everybody gets along. Thank you. Go
Good
ahead,
morning,
please.
Madam Chair, committee members. Todd Inglesby, representing the Professional Firefighters Nevada. We support this bill. We love the collaboration and everybody working together. Thank you.
We could sing, but we have to go to opposition. So, all right, online, nobody, oh, I do see someone in Las Vegas. Please go ahead in support of Senate Bill 317.
Thank you, Madam Chair Dondero and members of the committee. My name is Charles Nort, N-O-R-T. I represent Nevada Alternative Solutions, NAS, Ike Gaming, and TNR Painting and Drywall. I also reiterate the comments of the previous testimony given by the proponent, the people in support of that, the stakeholders, and also dealing with Mr. Mills and Senator Daley. I'm in total support of SB 317 as amended. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, and thanks for being here today. All right, now we'll go to the phone lines. In support, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 317, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much, and we'll go to opposition here in Carson City. In Las Vegas, go ahead, please, when you're ready.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Victoria Carrion for the record. I'm the Administrator of the Division of Industrial Relations. We are in opposition to the bill this morning, but I did want to clarify on the fiscal note. This is not our point of opposition, but in regard to our fiscal note, it was stated that our fiscal note is down to $215,000, and that is correct, provided that Section 33.5 is going to also be amended to delete the nullification of regulations relating to the assessment for subsequent injury boards. I think that's just technical correction that would happen when the amendment is completed. So provided that that is occurring, it is true that our fiscal note would reduce to $215,000. Also, we are in opposition to the bill today. We do appreciate the work with Senator Daley and the other stakeholders. However, there is a section that we have concerns with, and that is Section 14, Sub 12. We have provided written testimony that is available to you, so I will just summarize. That section says, the administrator shall not require submission of such a list through any specific proprietary software platform or particular electronic system. And that is relating to the lists that the insurers send to our division with their provider lists. So these are the lists of doctors that all of the injured workers can choose from. This language is diametrically opposed to a regulation that was adopted by the Legislative Commission in October 2024, that was RO 7623, and that provided that insurers would be submitting their provider list to us through our electronic system, which is called CARDS, the Claim and Regulatory Data System. The state has invested a significant amount in that system. It's $197,440. So that is a financial consideration I would like to ensure that you understand and can take into account. So we've already spent all that money, and the system is set to go live on June 2nd, 2025. There are lots of benefits to this system. It creates an easy way for injured workers to search for providers. It also allows them to download a list so that they can look at it in their free time and understand what their choices are. Currently, without this provision that allows the insurers to upload their lists, injured workers are forced to look through a variety of PDF, Excel documents that are very cumbersome to look through our website. There are also benefits to insurers and TPAs. They'll have reduced time to create their lists. They simply have to upload a simple CSV file that has a provider name and the provider number and the adjuster information, and that's all they have to do. The system will automatically match it up with all the addresses for the providers, all of their contact information, their specialties, the body parts they treat, et cetera. So there's a lot of efficiencies, we believe, for the insurers as well. The insurers will be able to verify the accuracy of the information by downloading it. And they will also be able to upload the mental health provider list that is part of this bill. So with that, we just appreciate your consideration of our concerns and request that that section be removed, or that language. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional opposition in Las Vegas? To the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to offer testimony in opposition to SB 317, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much, and we'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, ABH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 317, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, any closing comments, Senator Daley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Skip Daly again for the record, representing Senate District 13. Just very quickly, my understanding on the opposition testimony that money's been going forward. There is a system, from what my friends here, and they can confirm, I understand, is that when a group puts in their list of providers, they want that to be the list. The state can still run it through the CARDS program and create a bigger general list. But if they're going to litigation, my understanding is that first list that was put in before it runs through the system, which alters it and makes it into a bigger list, is the one that they have to go to trial with. That's why they want to have this policy as it's being come forward. And the concern from our friends at the Department of Industrial Relations is a policy issue. All of the policy players, or all of the people that are in support of this, are in agreement with that. And it is still all paid for by the assessment, irregardless, and doesn't affect the budget. So unless Mr. Mills or someone, I misstated something, I think that's it.
Thank you very much. There was a pause there. Just make sure you didn't need anything. All right. Thank you very much. And we'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 317, and we'll open the hearing on 318.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Skip Daly again for the record, representing Senate District 13 on Senate Bill 318. Very quickly, just the policy side of this. What the bill does is phases out over a period of time the for-profit element in the public school system in relation to charter schools. And then the second thing that it does is makes whoever the sponsoring authority is, whether that's the State Public Charter School Authority, the school district, or now cities or counties that sponsor the school district, the charter school, they have to report back to that sponsoring authority, and that sponsoring authority then becomes responsible to make sure that the charter school follows the prevailing wage public works laws, bidding and paying prevailing wage. My understanding on the fiscal note, and it's my understanding, Madam Chair, like I said, try to avoid the money committees as much as I can, is that the State Public Charter School Authority, on their portions of the fiscal note that's in there, doesn't go to the State Public Charter School Authority in any event. And the portion that the State Public Charter School Authority is claiming will impact them is also a self-funded program. It doesn't affect the state budget. It's not a general fund issue. They're funded through the fees and various things that they charge for people to make applications. So that happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. So are you saying there is no fiscal note?
My understanding is that it won't impact, and it's not going to have to come out of the general fund to fund this, because the State Public Charter School Authority, on the impact they claim here as the fiscal note, is paid for out of their assessment or their funding mechanism, which is not part of the state budget. They're independently funded. My understanding, if that's incorrect.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just a little confused because their funding comes through the pupil-centered funding plan. So I'm just trying to understand what you're saying, paid out of an assessment. Yeah. Mr. Thorley, can you jump in?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wayne Thorley for the record, LCB Fiscal Analysis Division. The State Public Charter School Authority is funded by an assessment from all the sponsored charter schools, and it is an assessment on the per pupil amount. I think it's around about 1.5%. But yeah, so it's an assessment on the per pupil amount that the charter schools receive.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions from the committee? Senator Buck, any questions? Any questions? All right, thank you very much. If you'll step back, we will ask those in support of Senate Bill 318 to come forward.
Good morning, Alexander Marks with the Nevada State Education Association. I'd like to ditto the previous speaker, Senator Daley. We've supported this on the other side. You can read our detailed support for the proposal and the limitation of contracting with education management organizations, or read Chartered for Profit, which is a report by the Network of Public Education. Related to this fiscal note, we think this bill addresses the profit motive in Nevada's charter school system. These EMOs are largely unaccountable, not transparent as to their operations. For-profit companies like Academica take millions of taxpayer dollars. We think the savings, if there will be, or if this is fully implemented, will actually help charter schools save money. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional support testimony here in Carson City? We'll go to Las Vegas. Seeing none, we'll go to the phone lines. AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in support of SB 318, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much, and we'll go to opposition here in Carson City. Please go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, Eddie Abeliser on behalf of Tri-Strategies and Academica Nevada. The fiscal analysis in which you're supposed to analyze today has to do with the fact that the per pupil funding plan goes to our schools. The LEA is the State Public Charter School Authority. The schools were asked what would happen if this bill actually became law. If this bill became law, then every single public charter school in the state of Nevada would be forced to in-house every operation of that school. That's education services. I don't know what happened to SBAC, for example. We wouldn't be able to engage and vendor with a private corporation. What would happen to snow removal and landscaping? What would happen to auditing, the audits that we have to do? It all have to be in-house. So the number reflected in the bill is because every single school was asked what would happen if you were prohibited, because that's what this bill does, is prohibit from contracting with a for-profit private company for any services outlined in the bill. And that's why that fiscal note is extremely high, because everything would be done in-house, and we'd have to receive $140 million on behalf of the state to help fund those positions. I think my argument in opposition to the bill is it's done very cheaply by creating economies of scale where these public charter schools enter into compacts together to do these services extraordinarily cheap and to a lesser amount. And I would just also highlight that there's no prohibition on our district friends who also have that ability to contract with for-profit private companies every single day for a lot more money than what public charter schools do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is William Horn with Western Public Affairs, representing Charter School Association of Nevada. Today, we respectfully oppose Senate Bill 318. In the spirit of keeping our opposition to the fiscal arena for this committee, I would point the committee to the fiscal note submitted by this State Public Charter School Authority that can be found in Nellis. With the increase in administrative workload and responsibilities, likelihood of necessity to hire additional management analysis, the possibility of lease increases for many charter schools would cost more than $170 million over the biennium. Therefore, we urge this committee to oppose Senate Bill 318. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Additional opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please. AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to provide testimony in opposition to SB 318, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Those in neutral here in Carson City, please go ahead when you're ready.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Sarah Adler. I represent a coalition of independent charter schools in Northern Nevada, and we are neutral on the bill, but wish to clarify that the concern Mr. Abelser or Dr. Abelser shared with you, we feel was mitigated by an amendment to the bill over on the policy side. We met with Senator Daley, and we feel clarified by amendment that individual schools may contract with their janitor or their cook or their speech therapist or, individual providers of services as needed. So we wouldn't want the bill to go forward without that understanding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any additional neutral? Seeing none. Las Vegas, seeing none. Phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in a neutral position for SB 318, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Hi, Madam Chair. Please forgive me. I missed the opportunity to speak in support of this bill. My name is Kaylin Evans, and I serve as the president of the Washoe Education Association. We represent over 2,600 licensed members in the Northern Nevada. I'm here today to express our support for Senate Bill 318. This bill is not an indictment on charter schools. In fact, we recognize that many charters across Nevada, including several in Washoe County, such as Honors Academy, Encompass, ACE, are locally run and committed to their students and communities. These schools operate transparently without for-profit management and deliver real value to families who seek different educational options. SB 318 isn't about limiting innovation or parent choice. It's about ensuring that public dollars stay in public education rather than being diverted to out-of-state for-profit education management organizations that ultimately are focused on turning a profit. For-profit EMOs often operate behind closed doors with limited transparency and little public accountability. Their contracts can siphon away millions of taxpayer dollars from classroom, educators, and student supports, all without any clear evidence that they can improve student success. As educators, we don't oppose charters, we oppose privatization. We oppose the idea that any public education dollars, whether going to a charter or a traditional true public education school, should be used to generate corporate profit. Our position is simple. Public education dollars belong in classrooms and not in corporate bank accounts. SB 318 puts in place common sense guardrails that prioritize transparency, fiscal responsibility, and the long-term sustainability of public education in Nevada. We urge your support and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Any additional in neutral, please, on the phone lines?
If you have recently joined us and would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 318, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Yeah, hello, my name is Al Rojas. I'm testifying in opposition because of the fact that there's a delay on the video and the time you call in. Just in my background in contract law, I oppose this bill because I don't see how the charter schools are operating more efficiently than the regular public schools. And I ditto the person's comment who said that it's just going to make them harder even just to pick up snow on the street. So it doesn't make any sense that the charter school will have to go to somebody else to just take care of basic business. I think charter schools are doing well, and I think they should continue the way they are doing now. Thank you.
Hi, Board Chair. This is Ashley Perkins from the Elko Charter School in Elko, Nevada. And I'm calling in opposition also because I could not get in during the opposition time. This bill, it just hurts charter schools. We need to look at outcomes. If it costs less and the EMO routes are successful, why not put our money where the success is? How many of the admin and superintendents come into these districts from out of state, pocket pretty good chunk of change over a few years and then are out the door? So the keeping state funds in the state is not working even in the district level. This year we're spending about $250,000 towards our SPED department. We get $50,000 from the state. That means $200,000 of our general budget is going to SPED. With this bill in place, our SPED costs jump up to $1.8 million. There is no way that we can survive as a standalone single charter school in Elko, Nevada without hiring outside people who are not for profit. Again, I think we need to look at outcomes and get rid of all of these bills that have nothing. We need to look at outcomes, not input. Time doesn't matter. The money, if we can spend that money and be successful, why are we going to block it? Again, I oppose this bill. Thank you. Bye.
There are no further callers wishing to provide testimony at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, with that, closing remarks. All right, with that, we'll close Senate Bill 318, and we'll go to Senate Bill 376.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Again, Skip Daly representing Senate District 13 for Senate Bill 376. Mr. Beeman here can explain the policy if you need to hear it. Has to do with workman's comp and trying to have a list of providers that will actually see and treat people that need this heart and lung issues if they've been injured at work. In my understanding, and Mr. Beeman worked pretty hard on it, so I thank him, there's the two fiscal notes, one from the courts and one from LCB that were zero but might have an impact, are now both zero with no impact. So I believe that addresses the finance fiscal note portion of this bill. If you have questions on the policy, Mr. Beeman can explain more, but if you're satisfied, that's what we have for today.
Any questions on this particular bill, 376? All righty. Would you just repeat the fiscal note piece of this?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, Skip Daly for the record. My understanding is the first fiscal notes that had anything attached to them for the state was one from the courts, which was a zero fiscal note, but said it could have impact or was undetermined. Second fiscal note was from LCB, where it said zero is the fiscal note, but it was undeterminable on what the impact might be. I know there was a letter from LCB that said that it's zero with no impact, and there's an email from the courts. They haven't got the official letter in that says zero with no impact. Both of those agencies, from my understanding, employ law enforcement people, which could have been impacted, which is why it was undetermined. But after a little more work from Mr. Beeman in chasing it down, my understanding is both of those are down to no fiscal impact.
Thank you. All right, any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll go to those in support of Senate Bill 376.
Madam Chair, thank you. Jason Mills, JASONMILLS of the Nevada Justice Association. We are in support of this very needed legislation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Jason Lesher with the Washoe County Sheriff Deputies Association and the Public Safety Alliance of Nevada. I want to thank Mr. Beeman, Mr. Mills, Senator Daly. I think the language in this bill goes a long way towards addressing some of the things we've seen among our members and getting our people fixed up and back to work as quickly as possible. So thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. Todd Inglesby, President of Professional Firefighters Nevada. Obviously, we support this bill. We see the need for this bill. It's well overdue, and we're looking forward to getting this passed so our members can get the treatment they need in a timely manner. Thank you.
Okay, any additional support here in Carson City? Las Vegas, go to the phone lines, ABH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in support of SB 376, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. In opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, ABH, when you're ready.
If you would like to offer testimony in opposition to SB 376, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, ABH, when you're ready.
If you would like to offer testimony in the neutral position for SB 376, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to offer neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing remarks? Thank you very much. We'll close Senate Bill 376. And with that, committee, I believe we've completed our agenda for today. We are going to recess. We will be back. I cannot guarantee a time, only a date, which is today. So with that being said, we are in recess.